What's going on, YouTube? R to the double E dash to the ZON coming at you once again. I know I said I'd give you guys two weekly videos at the beginning of the attempt to grow this channel. But, there are special events and special occasions within the video game industry, as we all, as gamers, know, that come around and they merit a response. They merit a reaction. And that happened yesterday, not just once, but twice. So yesterday we had the long-awaited Nintendo Direct, in which Nintendo came out at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern time, which is where I live on the Eastern time zone. And they came with a showcase of a massive amount of content and games. People have had mixed reactions. I've seen reactions all across the internet, Facebook, everywhere, of people who absolutely loved it, thought it was the greatest thing ever, and other people who just downright despised it and thought it was trash. I'm not on either extreme. I'm kind of in the middle. Like, if I had to give it a grade overall, I'd say I give it a C plus, maybe a B minus, because there was some good stuff there. But the issue with Nintendo Directs lately have been that they just don't like. I don't know if it's just an after effect of COVID and the pandemic, but a lot of the stuff is just stuff we already know about. Just showing you more of stuff that we know about, or stuff that's not really all that impactful. You know what I'm saying? That may very well be an after effect of the pandemic, the year and a half to 2 years that everything was kind of like working from home and all that. So it is what it is. But the show itself was decent. It wasn't bad. I'm gonna go down everything that they showed. I mean, they announced and showed off absolute assload of content and games, like just ridiculous. What I'm gonna do basically is I'm gonna go down everything, list everything, give you the release dates that they provided, give you a quick, 1 or 2 sentence take on each game or each piece of DLC or whatever, and then at the end we'll go over an entire summary of the show, and I'll give you my in-depth thoughts and reaction overall as a whole on the presentation. All right, so they opened up the show with the previously leaked and heavily rumored Fire Emblem Engage. It's coming out January 20th of next year, 2023. My thoughts, I've never been a Fire Emblem guy. So I know that it has a huge following, and I'm ecstatic for those people who are Fire Emblem fans, but at the same time that I can be happy for them, I'm kind of getting burnt out. Even though I'm not a fan, I'm kind of getting burnt out of just seeing Fire Emblem, Fire Emblem, Fire Emblem all over the place. I mean, Smash Brothers has like 17 freaking Fire Emblem characters. I exaggerate, of course, but you know what I mean. So, that's cool for them. Awesome. Art style looks beautiful. Then they showed It Takes Two to Tango, coming on November 4th of this year, 2022. There's an option with that game called the Free Friends Pass, where I'm assuming, or from what my understanding is, that one of you can own the game, and then you can play online with a friend using that pass. Even though they don't own the game, they can play with you, because it is a 2-player cooperative affair in that game. So, I mean, I've seen that game before. I haven't really played it myself. It doesn't really interest me, but it is a cool dynamic to have that 2-player co-op adventure game. So that's pretty cool. It did look a little rough on the Switch, but weaker system, things happen. Third, they showed off Fatal Frame Mask of the Lunar Eclipse, early 2023. This is awesome. I love Fatal Frame. I'm not a huge fan in the sense that I played all of them, but when I got my hands on Fatal Frame Made in Blackwater on the Wii U, which is where it originally launched, not on the Switch, I absolutely loved it. It was terrifying. Using the Wii U gamepad as the camera was cool, so we'll see what this one's about. This is the first time. This is not a brand new game. This game was in Japan. It never came stateside, so this will be the first time. That's awesome. Then we had Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Wave 2 Expansion Pack DLC featuring Ino, which is like a mechanical character, mechanical hero. It also brings new challenge battles and new special that you can unlock special outfits and all that. A bunch of love for the Xenoblade fans. Again, I'm not a fan. I mean, I love Xenoblade Chronicles X, and I enjoy Xenoblade Chronicles 2, even though I never finished it. But it's not my cup of tea. But this is awesome. Just keep that game supported and fresh for the millions who are enjoying this game right now. So that's awesome. That comes out October 13th, 2022. Then after that, we had SpongeBob: The Cosmic Shake. 3D action platformer, kind of like a Mario 64, Mario Galaxy type of thing with SpongeBob. Very clean graphics. I like the way it looked. I like the art style they went for. They went for kind of a 3D animated, almost kind of claymation type of very, very, very polished art style. I enjoyed it. I like the SpongeBob games. I played them here and there. They're decent 3D platformers, and SpongeBob is just hilarious. So that's awesome. That's coming out next year, no specific date. Then they showed off Fitness Boxing Fist of the North Star. This was a joke. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, if you're into those fitness games and all that, have at it. It's featuring characters from Fist of the North Star. and it's just a boxing. It takes you through boxing drills, and you follow along on screen. It's kind of like a rhythm game, kind of like a music game in that sense, like a Guitar Hero type of thing, but more on the fitness side. Then we had Oddballers. Oh, I'm sorry. That Fitness Boxing Fist of the North Star is coming out March of 2023. Then we had Oddballers for early 2023. It's a little quirky party game, kind of a dodgeball type of thing. You're in this ring, and you're all throwing the ball at each other, trying to avoid it. It looks like a little multiplayer diversion. Doesn't look horrible. Doesn't look great. It's just whatever. Then we had Tunic announced, coming September 27th of this year. It's a top-down classic old school Zelda clone, available on Game Pass for the better part of a year now, and on other consoles as well, on PC and all that. So it's great that it's coming to the Switch. I never really got into it, but for those who are fanatics or fans of the top-down old school Link to the Past type of gameplay, this is right up your alley. It's a beautiful art style too, very polished, very clear, and it's a good addition to the Switch's collection, man. I've heard nothing but good things about that game, so Then we have more information on Front Mission 1, 2, and now 3. We last mini direct we were told about Front Missions 1 and 2. They're tactical real-time strategy games featuring mechs and mech battles and all that. Real clean graphics too for that type of game. I thought it looks really good. Last time I saw it, I thought it looked really good. And here, just more of the same. Not really my cup of tea when it comes to real-time strategy. The only game I really mess with will be Pikmin, the Pikmin series, or the Mario and Rabbids series. Other than that, but this looks good. And they just gave more information. They're letting you know that Front Mission 1 will be available in November of this year. Front Mission 2 will be available next year. They just said next year. And there's now announcing that there's going to be Front Mission 3 remake coming next year. So they're going all in with this series, which is great. Bring the variety is a spice of life, man. Bring it into the Switch ecosystem, and just give that's the thing about the Switch, man. It just has something for everybody. You cannot look at the Nintendo Switch and say, "Oh, there's absolutely nothing there for me." You'd be lying. After that, we had Story of Seasons: A Wonderful Life. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I got to go back and do my research on this, but I think that Story of Seasons is just a rebranding and the renaming of what Harvest Moon was. I think this is the Harvest Moon series. It just changed the title, and now it's A Wonderful Life. Because I remember having Harvest Moon: A Wonderful Life on the GameCube, and I loved it. I love farming simulators. I never thought I would until I actually played Harvest Moon back in the day. I was like, you know what? This is it's relaxing, but it's engaging, and it's the same beautiful art style. I will say it does look a little too cartoony, if that makes sense, in the sense that it looks more like a DS or 3DS game than a Switch game. You can have that cutesy art style on the Switch and still have it polished and clean as one of the many farming simulating games that was shown off in this direct. We'll show you later on in this list. That's my only gripe with it, but it's typical stuff. Farming simulator, life simulator. You grow your crops, you meet somebody, you marry them, you raise a family, you have kids, and you have this life on this farm. So it's I've always loved those games. That's coming out in summer 2023. Summer 2023, and also this game is I believe it's the first one to feature aging effects. So the characters around you and your character, as the years pass by, will actually start to age instead of just staying the same. So that's cool. Now we have Theater Rhythm Final Bar Line on February 16th of 2023. It's a freaking Final Fantasy music game. I'm not commenting on that. I'm sorry, bro. If you guys like that, hey, have at it. It's there. February 16th of next year. Then we have some footage on Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope. Game looks beautiful. I'm not going to go out there and say that's a day one for me. Kingdom Battle, I think I bought on day one, and I don't regret it. I enjoyed the shit out of it. But especially lately, with things being the way they are, I'm reserving my day ones for just the real bangers, man. Like when Cowboy Collection was announced, I was like day one, and I couldn't even get that on day one. Splatoon 3 is a day one for me, but I still have yet to buy it because things are the way they are. I'm just trying to be responsible, but I will end up getting those games. This may not be a day one for me, but I do enjoy the Mario and Rabbids game, the original. This one looks like it has some tweak to the gameplay. It's not as it doesn't seem to be as much just maneuver the little droid around and they'll follow it to where it goes and then the battle pops off. It looks like it's a little bit more hands-on. Graphically, it's beautiful. And they also announced it with this game that there was a season pass and a special edition and all that. So, it is what it is. But it looks like a good game, and it's coming out October 20th of this year. Then they announced Rune Factory 3 Special for next year, 2023, no specific month or day. and also announced that a new Rune Factory is in development. So there's another one. So these are all farming / life simulators / RPGs. So they went heavy on this shit, man. Then this was probably one of the things in the show that I lost it. I was so happy. You guys already know. N64, Nintendo Switch Online, more games coming. And the very first one they show off, Pilot Wing 64, bro. Fucking finally! My favorite game of all time, and we get to have it portable on the Switch. Pilot Wing 64, Mario Party 1, 2, and 3, 1080 snowboarding. Yes. Excite Bike 64, yes. Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2. All these games were announced. And it looks the way they had it broken down on the screen. It looks like here in 2022, we'll be getting Pilot Wing 64, Mario Party 1, and Mario Party 2. That's 3 games left. There's 3 months left in the year. I'm assuming that means October, November, and December. So hopefully next month in October, we get Pilot Wing 64. And then for 2023, it looks like you're going to get Mario Party 3, Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2, Excite Bike 64, and 1080 snowboarding. Awesome. And then they also said, there's one more game we got to talk about. Fucking GoldenEye 007, dude. Coming to Nintendo Switch Online. And it said coming soon with online play. Now, I don't want to get too excited about that because it is Nintendo Switch. And Nintendo's online sucketh the big one. But I can't help but get excited because even if it's a mess with, certain people based on their connections, I will find friends to play this with. In private lobbies or private room, and we can play it together. And the fact that it's coming back and it still has the split screen co-op and it's the same great game. This is awesome. It's also on a side note, it's also coming to the Xbox consoles, but for some weird fucking Twilight Zone reason, on the Xbox it's not going to have online play apparently, and on the Switch it is. I don't know what the fuck to do. The world might as well end now. The Nintendo one is getting online and the Xbox one isn't. Okay, whatever. Anyways. That's awesome, bro. N64 Online is, like I said it, bro. The day that they added that to the expansion pack, I said I'll gladly pay more just to have those 64 games portable. Without having to hack my Switch, without having to, jump through hoops and circles. It's just there. I pay a yearly fee. Boom, it's there. Awesome. Then they went on to announce Various Day Life from Square Enix, if I'm not mistaken. And that released later the same day. This is another one of those farming simulators. I'm telling you, they went in on this. Then Factorio, October 28, 22. That looks interesting. It's kind of like a management game. You crash land on this planet, and you basically have to forage for all the supplies that you can from different materials, and then you build machines to have those materials forge into other useful items, and then I think the point is trying to build a rocket to get back off of that planet. So it's pretty cool. Graphically, it was clean. It looked like a real busy type game, kind of like a Jurassic World Evolution, or Evolution 2, which makes me question how the Switch handles this game. Because we saw with Jurassic World Evolution 1, it handled it, and it was a really good port, but there are areas where it starts to chug. And then Part 2 hasn't even been announced for the Switch yet. But this looks awesome. I mean, something that I might actually look into. No bullshit. I mean, I like those kind of games. Then we had a weird game, IB, coming in spring 2023. Very, very primitive graphical style, pixel art, but not even pretty pixel art. It looks to me, forgive me, the developer and the artist of that game, but it just looks sloppy to me. It just looks like real drab grays and whites and monotone, toned down colors. It's about a girl who goes to a museum of a certain artist that she likes, and then one of the paintings pulls her into that painting world, and she's trying to get out of that world back into hers. Concept is cool. I just don't like the art style at all. It just looks really cheap, really lazy, but it is what it is. Then we had more upgrades for Mario Strikers Battle League, which is awesome. We're getting Pauline and Diddy as new playable characters to add to your rosters. A brand new stadium, though they didn't go into detail on which one. New gear. All of that is coming this month. They didn't make an actual date, but they said it's this month, so I'm assuming the next couple of days we'll hear about that. That's cool. And then we had Atelier Ryza 3, Alchemist of the End, and Secret Key. These fucking RPGs have tongue twister, Bone Thugs and Harmony lines of titles, man. It's just crazy. The titles are always 10 words or more. That's coming February 24th of next year. Not much to say on that one. It just looks like a decent RPG. Something about an island appears, and then Ryza and his group of friends, or her group of friends, I don't even know if it's a guy or girl, have to get together, party up, and go and investigate. And there's your RPG. Then we had Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Wave 3 announced. They didn't show all the tracks. They only showed off 2. Merry Mountain from Mario Kart Tour, which looks awesome, and Peach Gardens from DS, which I loved. So they showed those 2 tracks off real quick. That's coming this holiday. Keep bringing Mario Kart to life for me. I mean, I'm sure I'm like a lot of people out there in that when this DLC comes out for Mario Kart, every wave that comes out, you'll have like a day or two where you go crazy playing it, and then you don't play it again until the new one comes out. The game is old, so at this point, yeah, it's going to happen. But I love the fact that they just keep bringing it to life for me with brand new tracks. So that's cool. Then we had Nintendo Switch Sports information. The golf update has been delayed, but not that long. It was supposed to come out like sometime relatively soon, like right now in the fall. It's been delayed to this holiday, so a couple months. And that'll bring golf. And they also showed a really cool mode. Again, I don't want to get that excited because it's Nintendo Online. But online, 8 players can play in survival golf. So you're all fucking going at the same time, trying to get to that whole kind of like a Mario Golf Super Rush, not as crazy. And the ones who have the most strokes get eliminated. So that's pretty cool. That's coming this holiday. Then they had Shigeru Miyamoto, the legend, the god, come on camera and speak a little bit about the Mario movie that's coming out next spring. When I mean speak a little bit, it's just say exactly what we knew. It's in production. It's coming out next spring. Thanks. Next, talk about Super Nintendo World. It's in its 2nd year in Japan right now. It will be opening this year in California. Why the fuck they don't bring it to Universal Studios here in Orlando, Florida? I have no idea, but whatever. Then he was like, I want to talk about Pikmin. And everybody just perked up like, oh my God, awesome. And then this trolling motherfucker had the fucking audacity, the unmitigated gall, as Stephen A. Smith would say, to pull out his cell phone and be like, let's talk about Pikmin Bloom. I don't fucking care. I watched this direct like 3 or 4 times preparing for this video and still couldn't tell you what the fuck he talked about Bloom because I just fall asleep every time that happens. I don't give a shit about mobile games. I don't give a shit about games on your phone. I don't care. But then he was like, now on to the main event. Pikmin 4. Announces Pikmin 4 coming in 2023. Awesome. They show a tiny little bit of footage. They show a couple of screenshots. They do actually show a little bit of footage. It looks beautiful. It looks clean, bro. You can see the power of the Switch there coming through. Just a little bit more than what you saw in Pikmin 3 on the Wii U. But it's awesome that that's happening. If it would have just been Pikmin 4 and that's it, 2023, I would have been like, this is Metroid Prime 4. This is fucking Everwild all over again. But no, they actually showed a little bit of footage. So I'm going to trust in the god Miyamoto, and I love Pikmin, so this is a good announcement. Then we had Just Dance 2023. Nobody fucking cares. November 22nd for those of you who do, but come on now. Bayonetta 3 showed off a new trailer, some more gameplay. Looks fucking phenomenal. I cannot wait. I don't need to see anything else about this game. It looks awesome. They showed off all the different characters. They showed off Jean's redesign. Bayonetta's redesign is hot, man. She was sexy in part 2. She was gorgeous in part 1. Personally, it's a preference. I tend to like my women with longer hair. I don't like the short hair. So when she chopped her hair for part 2, I was like, yeah, she's still sexy because of that body. But now she's got these freaking braids, and it's like, yes. But Jean, Jesus Christ, I do like blondes too. So if Jean shows up and freaking has like her hair all back, it just looks sexy as hell. Right there with Bayonetta helping her out. She showed all the different characters. Looks awesome, man. This time she's not fighting against angels or demons to save, to get her memories back, or fighting the demons to save her best friend. No, now she's fighting for the entire world because there's these man-made bioweapons. I forgot the name of them. All these stories are always outlandish. I don't care. I eat it up, bro. I love the corn. I love the fucking cheese. I love that shit. And this is just gonna be phenomenal. So that's coming out October 28th. That's one that I would say day one on, straight up. I don't know if I'll be able to, but yes. Then they showed a game called Rain Code for spring 2023. Basically like a detective game. Pretty good, pretty nice graphical style, nice art style. And you just play as like this like juvenile like detective trying to solve all these unsolved like cold cases in this city where it just nonstop rains. Interesting. It looked good. I might look into it. Then we had an announcement of Resident Evil Village. Once they showed Village, I was like, Cloud, get the fuck out of here, because the system can't handle that. Cloud, Resident Evil Village, Cloud versions, and then also 2 remake, 3 remake, and Biohazard 7. All of those are coming to the Nintendo Switch through Cloud. I will never degrade myself to playing a Cloud version of a game. simply because I don't think we really have the internet for it. Like, some people have a better connection than others, and they might have an enjoyable experience depending on the kind of game, but really we don't have the infrastructure for that to be a viable thing right now. That's why when PlayStation does their PS3 games through PlayStation Premium or whatever they call it now, and it's streaming, that's a big L, because Game Pass, you can literally download the games. That's I'd rather play a game that's either downloaded or it's a physical media in my console. I'm not playing a cloud game. I'm not gonna allow Nintendo to think that this is okay. I do understand that for the people that only have a Switch and would like to play that game, this is an option. But more often than not, it doesn't work that good. So, and there was a demo for Village available cloud version later that same day, which was yesterday. So, Village cloud version is coming October 28th, right next to Bayonetta. It's going to get slaughtered. And then the Winter's expansion, which is DLC for Resident Evil Village, is also coming in cloud version on December 2nd of this year. 2, 3, and 7 will also be this year, but they did not give any specific dates. Then we had Sifu. Sifu's coming to the Switch. It looked decent. It looked like a good port. Coming out November 8th of this year. Kung Fu game where, if you get beaten, you age a day. And you get older and weaker and all that. So that's a pretty cool concept. And the fighting is legit. I like the animation and the fights and the blocks and all that. It's like legit fighting. It's not just like blocking like you like other fighting games where you go like this and you just block. No, it's like that, like you're blocking and stuff and you're like pivoting and parrying and all that. So, or parrying, I should say. Then we had a Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion. It's an RPG, I believe, from the Vita, if I'm not mistaken, or the PSP, one of those two PlayStation portable consoles, or handheld consoles, that basically depicts the events leading up to the legendary Final Fantasy VII. So that's pretty cool. For the people that are interested, it looked clean. It looked like a beautiful port. So there's that. That's coming December 13th of this year. Then we had Radiant Silvergun, old school classic top-down shooter, space shooter, kind of like, the Galaga games and the Space Invader games and all that. But, the graphics were beautiful, fast-paced action, frantic, a lot of different weapons to use. That dropped yesterday, same day, stealth drop. Then we had Endless Dungeon from Sega, if I'm not mistaken, and it's a roguelike procedurally generated levels game where you and a squad. It's a squad of 4, so it's you and 3 others go through these dungeons and trying to get to the end. It looked alright. Graphically, it was beautiful. Not my type of thing. I'm not a big roguelike fan. Then we had a good announcement for people who are GameCube fanatics. I know OJ from Player Essence must have died when he saw this, and a bunch of other people, because the game has a huge following. Again, you know me, not an RPG fan. But Tales of Symphonia Remastered. That's huge. That's fucking huge. That's early next year. They just said early 2023. Excuse me. Then we had a quick montage, sizzle reel third-party games. Life is Strange Arcadia Bay Collection coming out September 27th of this year. Romancing Saga Minstrel Song Remaster coming out December 1st this year. Lego Brick Tales fall of this year. Disney Speedstorm 2020, just says 2022. Fall Guys Season 2 September 15, 2022, so tomorrow. Kirby Return. Okay, that was the sizzle reel. All right. All of those games, basically, Life is Strange. I'm not really a big fan of. Not really into those type of games, but it is a impactful, intriguing narrative. Like a drama, emotional type narrative game that you do control and you do play, but there's a lot of cinematics and a lot of storytelling. So, that's cool that's there. Romancing Saga Minstrel Song Remaster. I have no fucking idea what that is. I don't care. I'm sorry. There's somebody out there that does. It's there for you. Lego Bricks Tales, it looks like a building game, like a Minecraft game, but in the Lego universe. Disney Speedstorm is a Mario Kart clone, free-to-play live service game. Don't care. I will try it if I get bored one day and it's just there. I'll try it just to see if it's quality, but And then Fall Guys, I don't care. Season 2 that comes out, but Fall Guys has a huge following, so it's good that they have it on there. Then they announced. And it's funny because I lost track. Are we still in Kirby's 35th anniversary, like the year that we're in right now, 2022? Because they're doing Kirby's Return to Dreamland from the Wii. They're porting that over in HD Deluxe, February 24th of next year. And they said they kind of brought it in. They kind of mentioned it as it's still celebrating Kirby's anniversary. So it's a beautiful game. It was fun as hell on the Wii. It's awesome that they're porting that over. But we got a lot of Kirby in the last fucking year, man. Kirby fans are munching right now. They are eating good. So that's awesome. Then, that was the last thing. And they're like, okay, thank you for watching the direct. And all of us are like, shut the fuck up. You got one more thing. It's either Metroid or Zelda. You got to do it. And sure enough, one last trailer. And it was The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. The official title for the sequel to Breath of the Wild. Showed off a brand new trailer, very short though, and that's what I cannot stand. That trailer was so short, but it was beautiful, and it showed gameplay. It was epic, man. So much in that trailer. Even though it was so short, there was so much, bro. The verticality of the game, the Skyward Sword type of theme, jumping off into the sky, free falling, and then instead of a loft wing, it's like this stone bird, just like a glider that you just land on top of, and you just see that entire open world, Hyrule, and all that. Oh, so fucking beautiful. And that power that looks like might be a new rune power through the Sheikah Slate or something, where it's like he climbs on this square stone, like, piece of stone, and it like picks him up, and it starts ascending into the sky, and you see just holograms of other stones, and it's just passing them, and it keeps going up and up and up, and it's just taking you up into the sky. Graphically, it looks better than Breath of the Wild, which is already gorgeous. It just looks so epic. I cannot wait, bro. But the trailer was drastically short. That really sucked for something that huge and something that, like, finally we've been waiting. Oh, and they did give a concrete release date, which means, and I have faith in them, when Nintendo does this, when Nintendo puts a day on it, I don't think I've ever seen them go back on it. They'll put a month, they might go back on that, but even that's rare. They put a window, fall of this year, they're going to go back on it. But when they're like, March of this year, that's like a 75% chance it's going to happen. When they put the motherfucking day, month, date, and year, there's no more delays. That means they're comfortable enough to do that. They've gotten this game to the point where it's ready to go. So the date is May 12th, 2023. A little bit later than I would have liked, but hey, it's still there. It's official. So, I mean, it's gorgeous, but when a game this big and this epic, that we've been waiting for this review and waiting for this extra information about this game, for it being the third time you show off the game in different, directs or presentations, having it be that short was kind of anticlimactic. Which that needs to be the opposite. That needs to be a boom at the end of the show. Instead, it was kind of like it was an awesome psst, but that's all it was. It wasn't a fucking explosion because it was only 20-something seconds. It was like, what is this, bro? Why does Nintendo do that? But whatever, man. It was still awesome to see and to know that game is officially coming. Now, my overall thoughts on the entirety of the Direct. Like I said, there's people out there that absolutely lost their shit. They loved it. People that are RPG fans, bro, the Switch is the system for you. If you thought the original PlayStation or even the PS2 was the place to go and be, where you wanted to live for RPGs, that shit is gone, man. The Switch has dethroned them, man. The Switch has RPGs on top of RPGs. I mean, the most hardcore RPG fan doesn't have the time in his life to play all the RPGs that are on the Switch. Straight up. I mean, it's ridiculous. A lot of RPG fans, I'm sure, are ecstatic with this Direct. If you're someone like me, we kept hearing leaks. Like the leaks about Fire Emblem turned out to be true. But we heard leaks and rumors and inside sources, and I'm not gonna name names because I don't want anybody to think I'm calling them out. I'm not. But they're very famous sources that us YouTubers hear from. And if you're in the gaming industry and you like doing research and reading stories on certain developments and game development and all that, you'll hear these insiders and these sources. Man, they've been swearing up and down there's a Metroid Prime remake and a Metroid Prime trilogy already done that Nintendo's just sitting on, and the Twilight Princess and Wind Waker HD ports to the Switch already done, and they're just sitting on it. And there's a Star Fox in development. It might even be Star Fox Assault that's being remade. Some of them have said. And some say Zero. F-Zero is being developed. The Odyssey team is working on a 3D Donkey Kong. I fucking wish. None of that came to fruition. So with a Direct like this, where you haven't had one since February of this year, we're in September, and you want to come out with a bang, dude, I would have fully expected at least one, if not a couple of those things to be in there, if they exist. What I'm getting at is I don't think these things exist. I think Skyward Sword, Twilight Princess, and Wind Waker, I think that does exist because it's literally from the Wii U to the Switch, you're literally flipping a button to port it. It's not even that much work. So I can see that being true. I don't think Metroid Prime remake exists. I think Metroid Prime Trilogy could be done because you could just port the trilogy from the from the Wii U. But I don't think that exists either. I really don't. People that they're gonna use Metroid Prime Trilogy to hype Metroid Prime 4 when it's ready. Metroid Dread is what they used to hype Metroid back up for Prime whenever that's ready. I don't think any of that exists. The F-Zero game, I don't think that exists. I think Nintendo buried and already attended the funeral of F-Zero years ago and are never going back to it, unfortunately. I don't think Star Fox. If Star Fox is being developed, it's so in pre-development right now that there's no leak of an actual game. I don't buy that, dude. Because some of that would have been here just to spice up the direct even more. Especially knowing that Sony, well, maybe they didn't know because Sony kind of announced it after they did. But having Sony go on the same day with their show, you would just want to establish a dominance, But just knowing Nintendo, how much they love the fan service. I think that if any of those things were real, at least one of them would have been there, and there was nothing there. So because of that, it kind of sucked for me in that sense. Because I like the classic Nintendo franchises, man, and by the way, one thing I did I don't think I mentioned in the direct, they also announced the first Splatfest for Splatoon 3. The theme is, it's always cheesy themes with these things. Who cares? Nobody gives a shit about the theme. We just want to get in there and have a Splatfest. It's what would you take to a deserted island? Now remember, these Splatfests are now the tri Splatfests. Not two teams going at it. It's 3 teams going at it. So it's what would you bring to a deserted island? Grub, gear, or fun. Pick a team, and that's happening on September. Let's see if I still have the date. I had it written down here. Yeah, Splatoon first Splatfest. I must have skipped right over it, bro. Holy crap, I skipped over a couple of things, actually. I'm sorry. Yeah, Splatoon Splatfest, the first one is from September 23rd through the 25th, 5 p.m. to 5 p.m., from that Friday to that Sunday. And I also skipped over Octopath Traveler 2, which was a huge, huge announcement for RPG fans. Forgive me. That's coming out, or did I? I don't even know anymore. There's so much, I don't know if I skipped over or not, but if I did skip over it, it's coming out February 24th of 2023. And Fae Farm is another farm simulator that they announced there, which actually looked good. It was the best graphically out of all the games. That one and Harvestella, and it features local and online multiplayer coming out spring 2023. Yeah, man. I'm trying to make sure I didn't skip over anything else, man, because there was just so much goddamn shit. Boom, boom, boom. Harvestella, like I mentioned, November 4th, 2022. Anyways, yeah, so if I did skip over something, I'm sorry. It was a lot of stuff. Forgive me. It's a lot of notes I have there. But either way, yeah, the Splatfest is from the 23rd to the 25th, from 5 p.m. to 5 p.m. Those are always fun, so I'll definitely be jumping in that if I have the game by then. I don't know if I will. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, it was just like, overall, it wasn't bad. I was entertained, but a lot of and again, I don't want to be selfish or sound selfish, but this is one of those directs that, again, which is lately becoming a trend, is not for me. I find myself looking through all these headlines, this game and that game, and I just find myself like, who cares? I don't care. Next. Goddamn, show me something. Literally, what saved the show for me going forward from the beginning of that show was when the N64 stuff was announced. When that was announced, I perked up a little. I was like, oh, okay, awesome. They haven't forgotten about their fucking classic fans. So, it wasn't bad and it wasn't great. It was in the middle. If I had to give it a grade, like I said, a C+, maybe a B- because of Tears of the Kingdom being finally concrete date and name and all that. A little bit of extra footage. But yeah, man, it was decent enough, man. It wasn't the banger that we wanted and that we were waiting for since February, that's for sure. But Nintendo's doing their thing, man. I got to give them props, man. Out of the big 3, they're the ones that, whether I like some of the content or not, they're just constantly coming with games. Boom, boom, boom. It don't stop. Bro, they dropped Xenoblade Chronicles 3. The RPG fans are just freaking being consumed by that game right now. Then they come out and it's Splatoon 3. Boom. First 3 days, it sells over 3.54 million in Japan alone. Means worldwide right now that game is easily sitting at 6 to 7 million in less than a week. In 3 days, that's basically selling a million point something a day to be 3.54 million in 3 days. Splatoon. So then Splatoon comes out. Boom, does that. Now we got Bayonetta and Pokemon coming up in the next couple of months. Not to mention all the stuff they just announced. A lot of this stuff was in September and in November and October. Like Mario and Rabbids coming out. Like they're just game after game after game. They're killing it, man. So I got to give them props, man. I mean, they're beasting right now, man. And I'm enjoying it, bro. Even though a lot of this stuff wasn't for me, there was still stuff. Like I said, you can't look at the Nintendo Switch and say, oh, there's nothing there for me. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. You ain't looking. There's something for everybody, dude. There's tabletop card games on the Switch, man. I mean, there's RPGs galore. There's competitive shooters, whether you're talking about Fortnite, whether you're talking about Paladins, whether you're talking about Warface, whether you're talking about Splatoon. You know, there's the NBA 2Ks are on there. Yeah, we don't have a football game, unfortunately, but the NBA 2K games are on there. You know, you got fighting games galore. You got racing games. You got action platformers. You got, you know, everything, bro. You got the classic libraries with NES, SNES, Genesis, N64. Fuck, bro. Like they're killing it, dude. So, I mean, they got something for everybody, man. So, even like I said, even me who wasn't really thrilled with this direct, still, I'm optimistic, man. I think they're on the right track, and we'll see what they do going forward, man. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. It's been my thoughts and reaction on September 13th, 2022 Nintendo Direct. It was there. It was good. Not bad, not great. Coming up next, I'm also going to make a video on my reactions and my thoughts on the Sony PlayStation's State of Play on the same date at 6 o'clock at night. So, anyways, God bless y'all. Stay gaming. Peace.